Alright, y'all. Who's back? Livewire-racing channel. Been filming for the Misfits channel. Anyways, Dad's truck, my truck, ready to go. My daily, however, it ain't dailying. 350 set in it, having issues with headers and other brackets and stuff right now, so I figured we'll take a break from that. We'll do something easy, or at least so I thought. Got working on the motor for the Malibu, and it's not the fanciest thing ever. It's literally all thrown together parts. That was supposed to be the motor that was going in the car. 4.8 with some shit done to it. That motor out of the 08 truck that we raced. So I kind of like to freshen it up. I didn't put no bearings in it, so that's why I'm holding off on that. So we had these heads sitting around, and this intake, and, you get the gist. I was alright, I'm gonna stab the motor together. So I swapped the LS motor out of my cat eye that I had for this 350 and that 358 back there sitting on the floor. And I told Dad when I do the deal, I was like, I want all the parts I'm gonna need to at least make one run. And I told him I want all the parts to go with the short block. But I also have a 400 crank over there, so that might become a 388. Anyways, my idea with this was I was going to use, I already had parts in mind. So the bottom end is, from what I understand, it is a bone stock 350. I put the big solid roller cam in it. That had come out of our 406 that used to be in our black and silver Eagle, and it worked pretty alright. Actually had them cast iron heads on it, which are World products, and then it had a Torque 2 intake on it. So it wasn't setting the world on fire. It has some turbo mufflers, so I'd never really heard what the cam sounded like. It was really quiet. So I said, screw it. Toss that cam in there. That would be why it was in the S15. I never posted any videos of that. I took video, I believe, of putting the cam in and stuff, doing the cam swap. Ended up deleting it all. It never worked out. Videos on the TikTok page about it if you really want to see it. But anyways, I pulled the heads off because it bent every intake push rod. And those would be those little guys right there, sitting on top of my big block heads. Anyways, pulled them off. Put these aluminum ones on. I don't remember exactly what ones they are. I should know this. They're a cheaper set of heads. I believe they started out life as like a 205 when I run the numbers. Funny enough, you could actually order that head off Amazon. But it's had the springs changed. It's got triple valve springs in it for the solid roller cam. All the Harlan Sharps are, the rockers. They're all out of the black and silver Buick, out of the 406. So I used all the same valve train components minus the heads. I didn't consider the 406 having the flat tops with big valve reliefs in them, and as you can see, I got, go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. I was spinning the motor over, intake just fine. I get almost all the way around, as you see, that close to being back up on top dead. if you can see down in there, if it'll focus. We are touching the piston. So, that ain't gonna work. So, now we move on to what am I gonna do? I want that car running and moving under its own power by back to the brakes. Mind you, it is currently July 23rd. August 15th is the brakes. So, I got a small block here. I bought that one for the truck. Ripped this side of the motor apart. And cylinder 5? Yeah, cylinder 5. Piston's messed up. There's a hole in the head. Couldn't use the motor. So I got a 79 Z28 motor for my cousin. Really appreciate him helping me out with that, but yeah. Anyways, this is the motor out of it. Now when I bought the truck, I was told it still had the bone stock 305 in it that it left factory with. Pulled out this here 350. Now, obviously for those who know, you see that 010, you already know it's 350. And, I got to looking at it, and I'm like, alright, just another 350. I pulled the valve cover off, and I'm like, that's not a factory valve spring. That's a dual valve spring. I do not remember seeing a bone stock truck motor with dual valve springs. I could be wrong. Again, I am only 19. I wasn't around when these motors were being produced like that. But what I'm getting at here, there's still a good cam in there. All this motor did was take out the head gasket, I believe. So, what we're going to do today, rip the intake off, pull all the push rods. We're going to inspect lifters and the cam, make sure it's alright. Pull that balancer, pull timing cover, remove cam, do the same thing to that motor, take cam from this motor, throw it in there. I don't think it's a very big cam. I think it's just, it might even be a stock replacement. Who knows? It's what I have sitting here. I don't have any other cams on the shelf. And I want the car out. Tired of it sitting there being a catch-all. So that's what we got going on. I was gonna see about pulling the cam and stuff out of this motor, but I know for sure this is a bone stock motor. And just to furthermore prove my point, bone stock motor, that is a factory GM spring cap. Okay, I also retract my previous statement. There is a dual valve spring in there. That's besides the point. They don't have the factory retainers on it. Therefore, something ain't right. Well, it is, but it ain't. I'm gonna start getting this motor ripped apart before I even pull that motor apart. And I will get back with y'all when I got the intake off. Well, we got it ripped down a little bit. Intake, balancer, timing cover. This valve cover is loosely bolted on. So, still is single roller. I'm not sure how much chain slip is normal, but I don't think you're supposed to be able to damn near pry it off like that. But anywho, pulled the rocker arms, 3 bolts. Still got to inspect the lifters, so I got to pull the rocker arms, inspect the lifters, and I'll pick you guys back up here in a few. Cam's out, lobes are good, all the lifters are good, all the push rods are good, all good. Now let's take that stock looking cam and we'll just like it never happened. Be our little secret. Alright, don't tell nobody. But anyways, in all seriousness, this video is getting kind of long. I might pick the camera back up again when I get this tore apart, put the cam in, but yeah, for right now I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, like everybody says, I'd like to get back to being serious about YouTube. I'd really like to do this. I feel like everybody else. I feel like I say I don't got time, but when you do something you like, you make time. So I'm trying to incorporate it in something else I like. Hopefully you guys at home like watching it. Yeah. Remember, drink your Mountain Dew. Be big and strong. Well, flat tapped mystery cam slapped on in the motor. About to drop the lifters, push rods in, new intake gaskets. You know, if I weren't a very there's nothing good to say about that. If I was a little dumber than I am, I'd just run these gaskets again, because they look brand new still and nothing peeled off, but they've already been torqued down once, and yeah. Excuse me. Anyways, yeah, I don't feel like having an intake leak, so I'm gonna throw fresh gaskets in there. Finish getting it buttoned up. I got a new timing cover gasket, came with water pump gaskets and all that, so that'll be done. I believe with the flat tap it's 7 to 0 lash, just enough to where the push rod spins. I believe. I'd have to double check that. But now it's pretty much, I'd like to say it's pretty much back to a stock 350 with a double roller timing set. It's gonna have a decent intake, nice heads. Yay. Should do good burnouts though.